Good afternoon, everyone. So thank you for being here. We're going to have some concluding remarks from our representatives from the school districts. Before we begin, I'd like to let you know this is being recorded, so we've been asked to keep this line between the camera and the podium clear, although you can go ahead and cry. And to the extent possible to keep the clatter down. Thank you. It's a thrill to be here. It was 3 years ago, almost to this day, approximately to this day, that I was last in New Haven and at this event. A lot has changed since then. I can't quite remember what, but some things have changed. I do know that the last time I was here, I had different colored hair than Jim Vivian, so that's a different. I am going to invite representatives up. We're going to begin with my home district. We do have a local institute, the Delaware Teachers Institute, and I am going to ask Darrell Green and Nick Baker to come forward and make a few closing remarks. Thank you.
We did a nice job walking around.
Keeping the lane open.
We were thinking about that as we were.
So good afternoon, everyone. First, we want to thank Y&I and obviously our local DTI for the opportunity to come and fellowship and learn from the fellows. The seminars and the presentations were awe-inspiring, not only hearing from the fellows themselves, but obviously the professors that led the seminars, and then more importantly, the scholars who presented yesterday. As my colleague Eric indicated, it was 3 years ago that I had the privilege of coming up here the last time, and it's an awe-inspiring place, right? Not just being on the campus, but actually seeing the work and the efficacy that the educators walk away with from participating in the fellowship. So I guess we were asked to have some closing remarks, and part of what we discussed in our session is obviously what can we do to further advance the work, not only at the local level, but also supporting Y&I. And so some of the things that we discussed was really looking at expanding our efforts to other districts. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Delaware, we're a state of 19 school districts, and currently we have 5 participating in the local, and really looking at how can we collectively expand those opportunities, especially now in this state of where we are with regards to educator retention. And for me as a superintendent, I see this as a retention strategy. Hearing from the former fellow Rodney, who is from Richmond, who indicated that prior to him actually coming back for a summer institute, he was thinking about leaving the profession. And I've heard that a number of times, and for many educators, like this opportunity rejuvenates their passion, but also helps them tap into that creativity. So as a superintendent, that's one of the strategies. We also talked about how we can look at increasing and spreading the units that the fellows craft and create to go beyond our standard curriculums that we use, again, to continue to promote the quality work that's being done.
Yes, and thank you, Darrell, for this. You know, it's for us being from a small state, we get to know each other a lot more as well, and we have the power in being a small state, and that we can collaborate really effectively and rather easily, since the whole state from one end to the other takes about 2 hours to get to. As well, we're about the size of a county in Pennsylvania, for example. However, you know, really on the curriculum end, I think which was what was powerful about the experience, and I first came here in 2016 and was really empowered by the experience and really impressed with not only the passion that the fellows demonstrate, but the passion that the facilitators demonstrate with their sessions as well. And so I think what, you know, especially as a curriculum leader, what, you know, I'm looking forward to doing with Darrell and my counterparts in his district and the other ones is really taking to the next level is how can we use the work here that has been done to support the work and the programming that's happening within our respective districts, because we have common goals and common themes that we're all investigating and need across our respective districts. But really, when it comes down to it, is you have amazing instruction being supported and enhanced here, and we want to leverage that opportunity to our peers who are not through the experience and strengthen our programs. So once again, I loved hearing the different sessions that are being planned here. I wish I was able to come, just like I did in 2016. I wanted to do this myself. So the journey continues with it. But again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always enjoy learning from upper administration. You get a different picture when you actually spend the weekend with them. So that was wonderful. The Delaware Teachers Institute is 12 years old, and just before the pandemic, I had the privilege of going up with our director, Trish, to the, I believe it was the 15th anniversary, Edward? Of 16th anniversary of the Teachers Institute of Philadelphia, which is like our big brother, our mentor that helped us get into this. And so I'd like to ask Malika Savoy Brooks from the School District of Philadelphia to come forward. Thank you.
I'm going to say big sister because. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to share that this was my first time out of 16 years, and I've been in the district for 27, but my first time visiting Yale as a part, well, Yale, and then as a part of Y&I and TIP. I was in a reflection mode, one, as a district leader, what is my role here? Not just in what does this mean to the district, but how am I supporting over 500, 700 teachers that have gone through this program, and although it receives district support, you don't see it evident at a district level. So I had to reflect on what is my purpose here. I want to share too that I learned a lot from our teacher representatives and Edward as they explained the process, the development of the curriculum units, their enthusiasm, their motivation, and the purposeful work that they are completing right now and will continue to complete. One of the questions that one of the teacher representatives asked when we were in our team meeting was, what is it about the content that will enhance the growth and encourage teachers and students to learn in different ways? I don't know if that was my question or theirs, but what the comment was from them, and they said it really comes, it's the content that they learn, but it really comes, the learning actually happens when there's interaction between the professor and the teachers. That is where the deep learning occurs. So we're modeling practices here at Yale and at the local level, practices that will engage, encourage, and motivate people to learn, build their cognitive and intellectual capacity, and then those teachers are actually modeling and implementing in their classroom. So that was a reflection for me. I am, I'm gonna say sold, and I own the work because I have a heavy emphasis in my leadership on social justice. That illuminated through units, it illuminated through the conversations, and now I'm gonna say I'm gonna add environmental justice to the work because that really piqued my interest, not just STEM, but what does STEM mean as it relates to us as human beings, and how are we being ethically and morally responsible in the field of STEM is what I took away. Lastly, the local plans. What is our accountability? As the Chief Academic Officer, I'm the right person to come, right? So that I can make all of these promises, right? So what I did share was that we have a series called Digging Deeper series that is after school professional learning, not professional development, professional learning, where teachers have to attend 2 to 4 sessions and commit to that. The work is around content area, but digging deeper in developing the craft of teaching, not just the what do you have to teach according to scope and sequence. I did commit to to TIP being a part of the Digging Deeper series, where we will work together to determine which units what content and which units they will facilitate learning with other teachers in a 2 to 4 session series. We also talked about incorporating, this is where we've been for at least 2 years, incorporating the TIP and the Yale units in the curriculum units, scope and sequence, and on our website. It's one thing for me to come to sessions, come to the events, but, and as a district, we support it, but if you look on our website, you don't see it anywhere, right? So it's like, how are we maximizing, and I'm gonna say, quote unquote, capitalizing on the work that is happening in our district and the professionalism in the value of our teachers. We also talked about the collaboration with the TIP writers and the curriculum leaders and curriculum specialists. I talked about this a little bit when the district leaders met, because it's meshing two pedagogical perspectives and, I'm gonna say, territories together, so that it's for the benefit of our children. And then we talked about how the TIP fellows and teacher representatives, I'm still getting used to the language, can visit each other during the school day, sort of like a clinical model, so that they can provide feedback and encourage each other through their process. At a higher level, we were talking about how to engage our superintendent. We have a new superintendent, how to engage the superintendent in this work as he is completing or beginning a strategic plan, and he just completed his transition plan, and elevating that with what is the condition that we're trying to solve. Not necessarily the problem, but what is the condition we're trying to solve? What is the background information? What is the proposal, which is to continue the work and implement it in the district-wide, and what are the implications, limitations, and benefits of the work, so that he has that as he collaborates and meet with other leaders in Philadelphia. Lastly, we have a 21st Century Schools model, and it was my request to ask that TIP participate in that. The 21st Century Schools model is a model that's not new, but we are focusing on neighborhood high schools where the majority of our children have challenges with the academic programming, challenges with attending school, and maybe some social-emotional and environmental challenges. And we themed the schools, and I think this is a great opportunity to focus on cross-curricular integration and align it to the themes of the school. I think that this is also a great opportunity. This is what came out. It's the holistic child. I am deeply concerned when we segment content and curriculum. And if you think about the student experience, we kind of tell them when English is over, close the book, you're going to math, with a disconnect. And if our goal is to be a through to our students' post-secondary outcomes, how are we, this is my essential question, how are we preparing them for a synthesis of information, opportunities for application, and developing their cognitive and intellectual ability throughout their day? And this program leads it to that. I know that was a lot, but thank you.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear. I think one of the real benefits of this annual conference is that it does allow the opportunity for fellows and school administrators to have long periods of time to get together and talk to one another, and really figure out ways to use the institute experience to grow and to improve their districts as a whole. So that's wonderful to hear. We're now going to turn to a couple, well, three places that I've had the pleasure to be involved with in different ways for a long time, but that are, we hope at least, are maybe kind of on the cusp of joining Philadelphia and New Haven and the Navajo Nation and Delaware as new institutes. And so I'd like first to ask Cassandra Bell from Richmond Public Schools to speak to us. Thank you.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I first want to thank you all for the privilege of being here with you this weekend. I've learned so much. So this is my first time, and so I'm really, really appreciative of everyone that's a part of this opportunity. So this has been an eye-opening experience for me. So I was on a path of discovery over this weekend, and so I've learned so much just from all of you here, hearing from the professors, hearing from the scholars particularly, but hearing from all of you who have developed these fantastic units. I've just been in awe of the great work that you all have been doing in your time with the seminar. So it's just been a fantastic opportunity for me. I'm really encouraged by, and I know it's a little bit selfish, but I'm encouraged by the Richmond team and all of the work that they have done. They're a fantastic group of teachers, and opportunities such as this allow us to continue to retain those teachers and give them the power and empower them to do the work that they're doing. So I'm really, really encouraged about that. As was stated, we do not have a local currently, so that is really our emphasis right now. And so my question to the team was, first of all, just give me some background information, help me to understand what this would entail and why it would be so valuable for us. So they were able to walk me through the process and our relatively long journey thus far to get to where we are today. So we've been on this journey since about 2005, trying to establish a local. And we've gone through, as many of you will have, different changes in leadership. And so that has caused us to pause a little bit. And then we were able to move forward a little bit in 2013, changes in leadership again, and then the pandemic that we've all been going through, right? So now we are finally back on the path to move forward with developing a local, which really, really excites me because I can't wait to extend the fellows beyond what we're able to do here to our local community, partnering with our local university, VCU. So we're at the point just recently as like a week ago, where we were able to get our superintendent to sign our agreement. So now we are waiting for our partner at VCU to go ahead and move forward with their side of the agreement, and then we're going to be moving forward and progressing. So we've got that part down, and we're going to move forward. So I'm really, really excited about that, and the opportunity to encourage even more fellows to participate in this wonderful opportunity. While we already have a professional learning plan within our district, I think this allows for our teachers to really shine. They get to develop their own units, right, that are steeped in the standards, but it allows them to bring themselves even more into the classroom. We saw that evidenced in the units that we were able to catch a glimpse of just yesterday. I know all of you will agree with me that the teachers that were able to share their projects and their units were so engaged, they were so excited about the work, and if you could see little glimpses of their scholars engaging in those projects, it was just so exciting for me to see and encouraging. Makes me want to go back to the classroom so that I can participate in the seminars, particularly hearing all of the seminar topics that are going to be on the slate for next year. So I'm excited about that. So now I asked my team, well, what can I do to continue to move this work forward? because I'm sold, completely sold. And so sitting in my seat at the district level, I have the ear of the superintendent, so I will be in his ear to continue to promote this, this opportunity in establishing a local. But not just that, we need more visibility, right? We need more teachers to apply. We need more teachers to know about the Institute, not just the National Institute, but the opportunity to participate in a local institute. And so the first step is to make sure that we are visible with our principals. So going back, my charge is to make sure that we are on the calendar for our upcoming principal meetings for both our elementary clusters and our secondary clusters, to make sure that we have a seat at the table, right? And so that we can share with them all the wonderful things that have been accomplished, and share some of the units that have been developed, right? Because the whole intentionality behind it is to share those units across the district so that other teachers can implement this great work in their classrooms as well. And so we're going to do that first and foremost, just to make sure that we are on their agenda and they are fully aware. Then we're going to move forward with some interest meetings with our teachers to make sure that they're aware and they can apply as well. So I'm really, really excited about having an opportunity to get in front of folks that need to hear about the great work that's been happening, so we can expound upon what has been developed thus far. So again, I thank you all for this opportunity to join you. I've learned so much from district folks that are already have programs or local institutes in place, and those that are still in the development phase like we are. I've learned a lot from my team. I've learned a lot from the other teachers across the country, and I really appreciate each and every one of you for what you are doing and how you've helped to develop your scholars even more through the development of the great research and the development of the units that you have created. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful news. I think the first time I came to a national initiative was in the summer of 2010, and I met Val Schwartz then. And so, for all of you who are still trying to get institutes going, Val's the inspiration, right? If you look at patience in the dictionary, there's her picture. And then if you flip over a few pages, if you flip over a few pages to perseverance, her picture's there again. So thanks for all your hard work, Val, and for everyone in Richmond. I'm really excited about that. I've had the pleasure also of, over the past few years, doing a few Zoom meetings, and in fact, they were pre-pandemic, so I'm not even sure if it was Zoom or not, but they were video conferences with folks in San Jose, both faculty at universities there and with teachers in the various districts there. And then I had the pleasure of going with Jim over there one year and actually getting to go to several schools and visit and see fellows, national fellows in action in their classrooms. And so, I've really been a champion of bringing in San Jose for a long, long time. And so it's really my pleasure to ask to come forward Juan Cruz, Superintendent of Franklin McKinley School District, and Tom Won, Associate Superintendent in Eastside Union High School District. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone, and first want to start by thanking Y&I for having this opportunity. This is my second time here. The first time I came here, I was representing Eastside Union High School District and now Franklin McKinley School District. 2 years ago, we were about to start our local institute. We came as close as interviewing potential candidates to serve as the planning director, and then things kind of just fell apart. We had a change in leadership at various institutions, and so we're having to re-engage, the partners and trying to get the local institute off the ground. I do believe that there's a lot of interest and hope in getting our own institute locally. This is our strategy. I think it's been said in regards to our ability to attract and retain staff, teachers. We know that there's a workforce challenge, and while, yes, there may not be enough candidates in the pipeline, the workforce challenge is exacerbated by the fact that we have so many that are already in our classrooms that are leaving the profession. And so it's not just a pipeline issue, it is also how do we support staff so that they feel successful, just like the folks that we heard from yesterday morning, that excitement, that energy, that satisfaction that we can see from the work that they're doing and the feedback that they're getting from students through the work that they do, so that they can stay in the profession and they can see themselves being successful in this profession. And that also, I believe, would help our pipeline if folks can see that this is a profession that is worthwhile pursuing. So for us, it is critical to be able to have an institute that allows for us to attract and retain the highest quality educators that our students then can benefit from. And so that's our drive, and so we are going to continue to work as a team here to strategize and make sure that other folks see the great work that this is producing, and that the energy that we saw yesterday can transform our institutions back in San Jose. So looking forward to continuing our partnership and continuing to have our staff be part of this great initiative.
Thank you, Juan. And as the second prong of that retention aspect is the engagement. And in a room full of educators, I don't need to explain, Maslow's hierarchy needs, pyramid of hierarchy, needs hierarchy. But coming back from the pandemic, I think our entire K-12 system was just jolted, right? We had to collectively take a reboot in terms of how we treat our students, how we welcome them back to the spaces that they haven't been in 2.5, 3 years. And it's different. And now the work is how do we engage them moving forward, right? The past year was just, okay, let's get them comfortable. Let's meet them where they're at. Let's meet their needs. And the next evolution is the engagement piece. How do we engage our staff members to really do the work that they're passionate about? How do we engage students and rebuild that pyramid? And for us as a high school district, we serve 22,000 students, 1,300 high school teachers. Part of the work that we see with Y&I is the engagement in the curriculum that they teach. I've been in education for 25 years, and virtually every PD that comes our way is pedagogy, right? How do you engage students? How do you teach a particular method? But the Y&I initiative is unique in the sense that it really addresses the curriculum aspect, what teachers are really passionate about. And hearing what the seminar topics have to offer for this coming year is really exciting, because I do see a lot of our teachers thinking that they can truly engage in those topics and then convey that to their students and then have that energy. To see the students speak yesterday, to hear the passion and the engagement that you all had when you're teaching those lessons, that was eye-opening. And if we can bottle that enthusiasm and bottle that brilliance and bring it back 3,000 miles to the Bay Area, that's something to behold, and that's what we're really striving to do. Retain quality teachers, and give them the tools and give them the excitement to really engage in their work, and one of that engagement is through their curriculum, through what they're truly interested in, and in turn engage their students and take them to the next level. So it's my first time here. It's been eye-opening. It's been a great experience. I wish I'd known about this sooner and have attended sooner. But it's, better late than never. So thank you very much for the experience, and I look forward to coming back year in, year out.
Thanks very much. Another place that I've had the pleasure to visit through my involvement with this endeavor is Tulsa. And I think most of you know that at one point Tulsa had a local institute, and then it, for reasons beyond the control of the school district, it went on hiatus. But we're hopeful, I think more than hopeful, that it's going to be revived soon. And so to tell us a little more about that, I'm asking Danielle Neves from Tulsa Public Schools to come forward.
Good afternoon. First, want to say thank you to everyone here, to the teachers for the amazing amount of work that you have put in since last spring into your research and developing your units, to the university faculty who supported all of these teachers, not only in the development of your seminars, but also the one-on-one and group support that you provide to the teachers as they're working their way through. To the staff from the districts, especially those of you who are here for the first time, for being here alongside the teachers. One of the things we talked about in our school officials meeting yesterday is that sometimes it's hard to really see what's going on for teachers until you hear them present on the Friday morning of this conference, and you hear their students talk about their experiences, and that it's so powerful to be in this room with all of you and to hear about what is actually the magic that's happening in your classrooms as a result of your participation in this program. Right now in our current socio-political climate that's going on, it is an impossible time to be a teacher. And in Oklahoma, it is incredibly, maybe triply impossible to be a teacher. And so in all of this, the work that is in front of us is to really professionalize the experience of our teachers, to do everything that we can do to demonstrate how we value them for not only the time and the commitment and the love that they give our students, but actually their the teacher's academic and pedagogical skill that comes to bear every single day to meet the needs of their students. We also need to continue to really think about how are we retaining our teachers. In Tulsa, over the last few years, we've had to bring in more and more new teachers on emergency certifications, and what we're finding now is a gap between teachers who are in their first through third year of teaching, who were desperately trying to both train up and retain, and then teachers who are veteran experienced teachers who in all reality are carrying our schools forward and really supporting their principals and keeping, I said to someone, keeping the wheels on in some ways. And so how do we really support and retain those teachers in this work that they love, but in this work that has become so hard, not only because of the challenges that students come with when they come to our buildings, but also because of everything else that is often outside of our doors and outside of our control. And that's what I find is really unique about this opportunity, both here in New Haven, and then also, as Eric shared, we were able to have a year of a local institute in Tulsa. The opportunity for teachers to deep dive into content is actually something that's pretty rare. Whether you were traditionally trained, university training for teacher preparation, or alternatively trained, the training is really on how to sort of do the mechanics of school, not how to really invest students deeply in a love of all of the content that you have to learn. And often, I spent the last 8 years working in the curriculum and instruction side of the house, and often one of the things we talk about is that, we don't want teachers to have to feel like they have to be curriculum writers. And the reason we say that is because look at how much time and energy you put into developing that unit. And if we were asking every teacher to do that all the time, without the protected time and the time that you gave up from your families and your homes to do this, that's untenable. But one of the things that we need to do is to figure out how we make these experiences something that teachers can tap into periodically across their career to keep them rejuvenated, to keep them connected to new content or expanded learning about content, or, as I heard some folks say today, reaching in to address some of the things that maybe challenge them, like some deep understanding of fractions, right? How do we lean into those spaces and then bring that back to our students? And all of that work really ties in to the framework that we call our Tulsa Way for Teaching and Learning, about the importance of relationships, relevance, and rigor. And what I see every year that I've been here, I first came in 2014, is teachers who build a deep relationship with the content that they've studied, who also find ways to make that content deeply relevant for their students and do it at a really high level of rigor, such that I think without putting grade levels on some of your units, I think we all have colleagues who would say, oh, that must be a middle school unit. And then we've got a second grade teacher saying, what? Like, we do that in second grade because we know what our kids are capable of, and we see how our students rise to the occasion when we give them that opportunity. I think the last time I was here and spoke to this group, we actually were just about to launch our local institute. I believe that's right. And we're getting close again, and we're hopeful that next year when we're here, we'll tell you all about how we're getting teachers registered into our local institute. But our time together as a team today has really focused on how do we continue to spread the word, how do we continue to help teachers and school leaders really understand what this experience is, what the benefit is for teachers, sort of what's the value add that makes it worth the time and energy that you put into this. And we know that the best way for us to do that is to get these folks in front of more teachers. And so we're looking at ways to host open houses, to use our technology, trying to talk a few of them into making some videos of themselves, to really share with other teachers about what happens when teachers invest in what's interesting to them and then are able to bring that into their classroom and connect with what's interesting to students. So again, I thank all of you for being here, for sharing with all of us what you are learning and what you have learned, and just say, please have a wonderful rest of the year and know that all of us are rooting for you. Thank you.